everyone. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Welcome to the Backbone podcast, where common sense still makes sense in a world that is sick and getting sicker. And today we have breaking news: the Sean Diddy Combs trial is over, and what a dud this was. We've been talking about the American legal system as of late, and it's been looking hard. Really bad, really, really bad. And this today is no different. So Sean Combs, as you know, the freak, uh, participated in these Sodom and Gomorrah like orgies for years and abused people, abused young people, women, men, anybody and everybody under the sun. Well, he finally was brought to trial. And this trial was a sham. The lead prosecutor for this trial was the daughter of James Comey, Maureen Comey, and she turned out to be as incompetent as it gets. And we'll get to that schmuck later. But today, Combs was acquitted of the most serious of charges, the racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking charges. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I grew up in New York. I remember the Gotti trial. I remember all these mafia trials. These guys, if they even talked to us, said hello to some dopehead in the street, or if they were involved in some Mickey Mouse, underground casino, they had 500 charges on them. They were almost always found guilty. And there was rats, and there was, they faced 200-year sentences. And a lot of times, all you had was a guy who ratted them, a guy who was basically a loser, who wanted to avoid jail time, ratted these guys out, ratted somebody out, and they got 200 years or life. But there really wasn't much evidence for anything. The only thing that you really had on John Gotti was the fact that he was on tape saying that he wanted to, break somebody's head, and Sammy the Bull ratting him out, and they put him in jail forever. They poo-pooed the fact that Sammy, murdered about 20 people. That's okay. Gotti has to go to jail forever. But here, Combs, there was people testifying against him left and right. Evidence all over the place, guns, video of him beating the shit out of a woman. And the man got off. Now, the conspiracy theory in all of us says, hey, who knows who was at those parties? Who knows who was engaging in some nefarious activities? Who knows who that jury was? Now, Combs did not skate free. He still could face 20 years in prison, since the maximum sentence, since he was convicted of prostitution, and the maximum sentence for that is 10 years per count on transportation. So, transportation meaning that he gives one girl over to somebody else. There will be a hearing this week to address the scheduling of Combs' sentencing. Now, I've been looking at social media all day long. Nobody thinks he's going to get 20 years. Most people are saying he's going to get a couple of months, maybe a year to the max. So he was found guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. That's what they're calling it. Now, the prosecution accused Combs of leading a criminal enterprise made up of some of his closest employees, alleging they used threats and violence to force this woman named Casey Ventura, who was supposed to be, the next big star for this guy, and another woman named Jane, which is an obvious fake, to engage in drug-fueled sex acts with male escorts. Combs' lawyers argued that the sex acts were consensual and merely preferences. Now, there's probably something to that. because as you know, people will do anything to become famous. Anything. They'll sell their souls, and this is what these people did. So today, the jury found Combs guilty on the 2 counts of transportation and engaging in prostitution, but he was acquitted of the federal criminal charges of racketeering and what was the other thing? Conspiracy. Oh my God, I read it written down here. Oh, sex trafficking. So he won't face life. But it just goes to show, man, these prosecutors today suck. The New York Manhattan South District U.S. Attorney's Office has, I think, a 95% conviction rate. Like you face those guys, it was over. Not now. Now, the government intends to seek a sentence of incarceration for Combs. He was denied bail today, so Combs is still in jail. And they're going to try their best to get this 20-year prison sentence conviction. And Maureen Comey has to fight for her life because she is looking like shit right now. So is her father. Now we have a breakdown here. I wrote some notes down. The verdict at 9:52 Eastern Time. The jury sent a note to the judge announcing it reached a verdict on all counts. After the verdict was read and before he was led out of the courtroom by marshals, Combs faced the gallery and clapped, prompting the gallery to clap and cheer. See, here's the thing. Here's the reason why these celebrities they can get away with murder. O.J., Robert Blake, so on and so on. The jury there was probably 2 or 3 people who were fans of his on that jury. There are probably 6 or 7 people on that jury who hate the government. I think the government's just as corrupt as these people are. Which they have a point. When it came to bail, defense attorney Mark Agnefolio, a Guinea, called for his client to be released on $1 million bond while awaiting sentencing. Now, Ventura's lawyer submitted a letter to the judge asking to deny the defense's request. The judge ultimately did deny Combs's bail, saying that he did cause he said that he did so because Combs had demonstrated a disregard for the rule of law and a propensity for violence. That of course is the videotape where he assaulted this woman in the hotel. The judge is scheduling a remote hearing for next Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, to address the sentencing and scheduling. The defense said that they would like to expedite the sentencing schedule as much as possible. The defense said that the defense is willing to waive a pre-sentencing investigation to expedite the sentencing if the judge is open to it. But Comey said, given the complexity of the trial and the disparity between the parties' positions on the sentencing guideline range, she doesn't believe the court has enough information to sentence Combs without any investigation. What the hell is this trial about? How much more information does the guy need? How much more information is out there? Now, what's the reaction to all this? Some people, there was a huge gathering outside the courthouse. And New Yorkers are, I don't know, I love my New Yorkers, but they can be crazy. There were some New Yorkers, some people were spraying baby oil into the crowd. There were some people, I think there was a woman who had a shirt that said Frico, not Rico, which I thought was kind of cool. It's kind of funny. And it didn't turn into the circus that we thought it would become, but it is a slap in the face to anybody who is involved and was abused by this. Now, we say abused. These people knew what they were getting into. You go to these parties, you're, especially if you're a woman and you're good looking, you know that these guys aren't going to be there to ask you out on a proper date and try to court you like a lady, because you're not a lady in their eyes. You're meat. So these girls have no leg to stand on. None whatsoever. Now, what does this have to do? Now, where does this leave Maureen Comey? Now, Comey, I mean, this is, I hate to do this to you guys, but it's bad enough you got to see my face. Wait until you see this chick. I mean, she is, she's not the type of girl that you want to wake up to on a Sunday morning. Let's just say this. There she is. Look at that. Now, Comey has a pretty dubious background as a prosecutor, not private life. I don't know what she's like in private life. I mean, who would want to have a freak off with her? But she was the prosecutor in the Jeffrey Epstein trial. And she also had a lead role, as the banner says, in the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. All three of these trials that she's been responsible for have been absolute disasters. And it comes down to, is she corrupt? Is she competent? Is she a dingbat, or is she a little bit of all three? Because how can all these people? I mean, Epstein didn't get off, but he avoided a jail cell. He traded a jail cell for a coffin. And Maxwell, we don't even know what happened to this Maxwell chick. But Diddy Combs is now not free, but again, from what everybody is saying, all these legal experts on TV and on social media, he won't do any more than, if he does a year, that would be a long time. But we don't know this. The judge may want to make an example out of him. But the feds dropped the ball again. And listen, the legal system, the feds, all these prosecutors, they're all shit. I mean, if this was a regular guy off the street, they would have buried him under the jail. But because he's a mogul and he doesn't make music, he makes garbage, but he's in the music industry and people like him, and we're more of a celebrity society than anything else. These guys are going to get off. And people are so anti-government now. People hate the government. They don't trust the government, that they're willing to just let bad people go just to make these government prosecutors and the government itself, the feds, look bad. And they're making a hell of a case right now, a hell of a point right now for it. All right, so I just wanted to do this brief breaking news report. I'm just glad we're not talking about the Middle Eastern bombs and all sorts of crazy stuff with Trump. I mean, him and Elon are back at it. This mayor race in New York looks like it's going to be a shit show. And the big beautiful bill looks like it's going to pass, and it's going to cost so much money. The numbers that they're talking about are so astronomically stupid. I mean, trillions upon trillions upon trillions of dollars, and I don't know where this money goes. Who does it help? Nobody knows. They just go to the Federal Reserve building. They print up that money, meaning that the money that is in our pocket right now will be worth less tomorrow, and they just blow it. They just spend it. They just give it to people. And if you have a friend who's in government and you have a government contract, you're making a lot of money. But anyway, I just wanted to put out a little podcast tonight, little 15-minute quickie, and give an update on the Combs farce, because this was a farce today. And we'll look into next week what his sentencing is. I don't think he's not getting 20 years. I doubt that, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll do maybe a special 4th of July show. I would like to reminisce about my days of blockbusters and M80s and pineapples, and the days when on the 4th of July the Yankees, when they were for the fans, when George Steinbrenner was alive, they used to have 4th of July games, mostly against the Red Sox. And right after the 4th of July game, the Beach Boys would perform on the field. It was I mean, those memories are just unbelievable. And the Beach Boys are one of my favorite bands. But yeah, we'll get to that. We'll do a little 4th of July show, and maybe we'll do something tomorrow night if you're good. All right. Thanks again for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Be careful out there, my friends. Satan is always busy. Be a man. Have a backbone, because common sense and masculinity are worth standing up for. We'll see you later.